And so we begin at 6 tonight with our debate doubleheader, and now the countdown to the June 2nd primary. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Carolyn Johnson, in for Michael Brownlee. Early voting is already underway, and the primary is now just over 3 weeks away. Tonight, we're breaking down the biggest takeaways from the mayoral and gubernatorial debates as the top candidates took the stage.
NBC4's Conan Nolan is here with us. It was quite a night out there last night.
It was a long night.
It was definitely that.
Very rarely do we see doubleheader debates, but we had one.
You pulled it off.
Yeah, to a certain degree. So listen, it's not just June 2nd. The fact is, it's an election month. Yeah. People are casting their ballots right now, and that is one of the reasons why, certainly in the gubernatorial debate, they're running out of time. It's like the clock is ticking down. You don't have much time left, so it's like a Doug Flutie pass in the Boston College-Miami game, if you can make that reference. And so that's what we saw with some of the candidates in the race for governor. We'll go to that first. In the race for governor, you had, among the issues where we saw some separation from the Democrats, not so much from the Republicans, was on the issue of housing. We'll have that in a second. It was Matt Mahan, the mayor of San Jose, was talking about the economy and business development. A big dust-up between Katie Porter and Sheriff Bianco from Riverside County over the immigration and the sanctuary state policy, and then the attack by the former mayor of Los Angeles, Antonio Villaraigosa, against Javier Becerra, the former Secretary of Health and Human Services. Here it went.
And that is what I will get back to as governor, to restore that California dream of home ownership.
I believe in zoning densely near public transportation. And I believe that the way to drive down costs per square foot by at least a third.
We've got to actually fix our underlying regulations and make it easier to invest and start companies.
I think we ought to enforce the existing sanctuary laws everywhere so we don't have crazy cowboys taking the law into their own hands.
Tell that to a crazy mother who lost her child.
Sir, I don't need any lectures from you about being a mother.
Of course, you might.
Mr. Becerra, are you proud that you pushed out 85,000 migrant children? They were, according to the New York Times, they were maimed, they were exploited, some were even killed.
Donald Trump was separating children from their parents. We stopped that. We took care of them. We protected those kids. We didn't do what Trump did.
Now, there you saw Javier Becerra. Because he is the leading Democrat in this race, he jumped up to double digits. He was the target last night for the others on the panel. Did it move the needle? Hard to imagine that it did, but it was one of the last attempts that these candidates have had to try to bring his numbers down so they can have a shot on June 2nd.
You know, Conan, we're not going to let you go anywhere. We're going to come back to you in just a minute to talk more about the governor's race and, of course, about the mayor's race as well. A lot of people who watched last night the mayoral debate said they were impressed with Spencer Pratt.
Yeah, in our online unscientific survey, viewers said Pratt had the best night of the three candidates. Keenan, Willard in the Hollywood Hills now. And Keenan, some said they didn't necessarily expect this from him.
Yeah, Carolyn, we heard from political experts, some voters. They said that Pratt's performance on the debate stage was impressive, maybe more impressive, and potentially making him more serious of a candidate in appearance than maybe some voters would have expected 3 months ago when he filed to join this race. Now, he's been making waves on social media. He's been doing well in his base area in the Pacific Palisades, but we've heard from some political experts that say if you want to run the second largest city in the country, he also has to make inroads in other communities.
There's a lot of change from last night, and I'm very excited about it.
After a debate night where he railed against the city's fire response and homelessness, some viewers said they felt like Spencer Pratt made his case to be LA's next mayor.
And they're politicians, and I'm an outsider coming in here because we've had enough politicians. We want common sense.
Pratt entered the race for mayor after losing his home in last year's Palisades fire. We were there when he officially entered the race in February. The former reality TV star's outfit and strong criticism of city government raising some eyebrows among voters at the time. 3 months later, Pratt is being backed by donors like Lakers owner Jeannie Buss. And some experts say Pratt's debate performance has positioned him as a more serious candidate than some might have expected.
I think as a winner to some extent, Spencer Pratt did present himself. He came across very early as authentic.
Our online unscientific survey showed viewers named Pratt the winner after the mayoral debate. His supporters in Pacific Palisades saying he's the best candidate to take on issues like homelessness and public safety.
Something's got to change, and that does not mean that's a Democrat or Republican issue. It is a human issue. And I think that's what Spencer's really driving home.
But some experts say to take City Hall, Pratt will have to win over voters outside his base on the west side.
He certainly didn't speak to the east side of the city, the south side of the city, and I would even say the majority of the valley, from my perspective.
Today, NBC4 went to Boyle Heights, asking voters how they feel about Pratt as a candidate.
Do you know anything about him?
No, I don't. I don't.
I haven't really heard much about him.
He's a reality star.
That's about it?
That's about it.
Long way to go until Election Day. Now, we reached out to the Pratt campaign today to ask, as mayor, what would be his plan to support communities in East LA and in South LA. We are waiting to hear back. From the Hollywood Hills, Keenan, Willard, NBC4 News.
All right, Conan didn't go anywhere. He's still here with us. The fact that he's not known outside the Palisades, could the same be said other than Mayor Bass for Nithya Raman, Councilmember Nithya Raman?
Yeah, you could. I mean, Nithya Raman is engaged a little bit more because she's in a second term as a member of the city council. But yeah, keep in mind that anybody who wins the job of mayor of Los Angeles has to build a coalition. Mm-hmm. You have to go to, and Keenan kind of pointed to it, various parts of the city. There are different constituencies who have different problems, and they have different expectations. And Karen Bass has been very good at that. She certainly was in the first campaign against Rick Caruso. And she has been able to navigate that. I mean, she had a legislative district in South Los Angeles and an assembly district there as well. But she's somebody who knows all these players and knows the labor unions and knows some of the environmental groups and some of the advocacy groups that play a sizable role in city politics. And so that's why having experience is so important in winning a race for this job. Now, Spencer Pratt he came across very articulate. He has a passionate support base. And there is a grievance element to all this. And justifiably, you know, he lost his home. He saw 7,000 homes destroyed. And on top of that, people like Jeannie Buss have been talking, the owner of the Lakers, been talking about how they see a degradation of the city, the graffiti, the homelessness, the closing of businesses.
Specifically the downtown area.
Specifically downtown, right next to Staples. I mean, you can see, I think, the graffiti tower from where the Lakers play their home games. So that has built on top of this. Whether or not, though, he can speak to those other groups or his campaign has reached out to them, yeah, he's got a heavy social media presence, but that doesn't reach everybody in this city, not by a long shot. And so remember, running for office is easier than governing. And so he has to prove that he's at least capable of reaching out to neighborhoods that normally somebody from the west side, you know, has a difficult time talking to.
When we look at the governor's race, going back to that one or that debate, which candidate stood out the most to you of really perhaps making a difference last
Well,
night?
you know, so we knew that Antonio Villaraigosa was going to throw the long pass because he's in single digits. This is, you know, he's running out of time. They all are, frankly. I thought Matt Mahan tried to be the adult in the room, the mayor of San Jose, the only one really who is in office right now. Everybody else is a former or never been. And I think Steve Hilton, as the lead Republican, all he has to do is show up. He's probably going to win one of the slots because there's certainly enough Republicans who are going to rally around him. Chad Bianco, the Riverside County Sheriff, is trying to eat into that support, but I'm not quite sure he's going to make it. So everybody on that dais that's a Democrat, they're looking for the number 2 slot because in California, with the voting registration favorability that the Democrats have, it's highly unlikely a Republican's going to get elected. So if you get that number 2 slot in June, you're pretty much guaranteed
Well, what about the late
election
polls?
in
How
November.
many are still undecided? Because as you point out, the ballots are already out there. Some people have already filled out their mail-in ballots and sent them off.
Right. A lot of people, when they get this late in the race and they're undecided, they just won't vote. They just won't get to it. But some of the polling that we've seen indicates the undecideds have dropped considerably. And so, you know, for someone like Mayor Villaraigosa, for him to really enter the race, he would lead like 80% of the undecideds. Unlikely that's going to happen. But I think right now, the odds-on favorite, the establishment candidate, is Javier Becerra, the guy with the experience. I don't know how well he didn't He didn't blow anybody away in that debate, but you didn't have to. You just had to survive.
And he has the union backing as well.
He has the union backing. He has the backing of the establishment party. You have to remember, when Eric Swalwell left, the party needed to find, the establishment party, certain labor unions, the Democratic establishment, they needed to find somebody, and they found him.
All right, Conan, thank you.
My pleasure.
And if you missed the debates last night, you'll find both of them posted on the NBCLA YouTube page.